What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm excited today because I get to build an engine. I thoroughly enjoy being able to put engines together, build motors. It's fun, it's soothing, it's relaxing. It can be stressful, but this one's not. So in the last video, we went through and we verified all of our measurements are good on this engine, such as main bearing clearance, rod bearing clearance. We measured our crank. We measured everything you could think of. We got our pistons set up and our piston rings good to go. So today, we're getting this thing built. And tomorrow, which is today for you guys seeing this, we're giving this engine away in a live stream. So if you entered the giveaway, let me caveat and say if you entered the giveaway. So if you guys want to watch that, swing by the live stream later. But with that, let me show you what we got going on. So what we got right here is a set of EJ25 case halves. As you guys, the EJ20, I don't need to show you guys that. You guys already believe me. We got this engine back from the machine shop about a week ago now. We went through yesterday. We did all of our clearance measuring on the mains, on the rods, everything like that to make sure everything is good to go. I've got everything we need over here, seals, bolts, and whatnot. We've got some nice zinc hardware to go in this engine to make it look nice and pretty as well. So one of you guys are gonna be winning this. Whoever entered into the giveaway, congratulations on whoever's gonna win this. I don't know yet. It's all gonna be completely random in tomorrow's live stream, today's live stream, in the future. You know what I'm saying. So we set these case halves down to Outfront Motorsports. They bored and honed all of the cylinders up to 99.75 for our new CP pistons. Well, they're JE CP pistons. They're JE pistons. We also have a set of Manley connecting rods over here. These are the Manley H Tuff connecting rods. This engine's going to be capable of holding about 500 wheel horsepower. If you decide to push it past that point, that's totally on you, but 500 is what I'm rating it for. So the first thing we need to do with this thing is get this engine actually moved, so that way we can get our rods put onto our new crank. So we've got our Manley connecting rods, brand new crankshaft right there. Let's go ahead and get this thing set up. All right, so the first thing that I need to do here is not worry about this quite yet. So I'm gonna slide that back and out of the way. We need to go ahead and get the rods on this crankshaft here. So first thing we need to do, wipe off all the journals with some brake clean. Ooh, daddy-o. I just threw the straw on the ground. It is. Make sure you're using a clean rag, by the way. Last thing you want to do is use a dirty rag. I'm just gonna wipe off the whole crankshaft here just to get any foreign object debris out of here. And if you're curious on which one the rods go on, which one the mains are, all the mains are in the middle. So it's very easy to figure that out. All the mains are right in the middle. Start from the back, work our way forward. I've already gone through here and labeled all of these. Oh, hello, Manley rod. Get any excess oil off of you. Make you look nice and pretty. Get you ready for your date that you're going to, because you're going on a date, man. You're going on a date with power. You're pushing P, man. Isn't that what everyone's saying now? Pushing P? Pushing P, baby. Now, before we just go throwing this rod on the crank and whatnot, I'm gonna go ahead and pop the bearing out of here, so that way I can re-wipe down the backside of the bearing and the actual crank journal, or the rod journal, just to ensure that everything is nice and cleanly. Because that's what we like, is cleanliness here. The last thing that you want is like crap underneath of a bearing. Especially a brand new bearing, because you will spin a bearing faster than you can say tomato juice on a Tuesday morning. I don't know why you'd be saying that, but that's what you're going to be saying. Clean this rod. The biggest thing that you want to make sure when you're building an engine is make sure everything's clean, dude. Dude, just make sure it's all clean, or else you're not going to have a freaking good time, man. Get some of this beautiful assembly lube on there. You can use whatever assembly lube you want. Personally, I just prefer this Redline stuff. It's just nice assembly lube, you guys. And you can be a little generous with assembly lube. You don't gotta be stingy, all right? You can be a little bit generous. The assembly lube is mainly there just to make sure that when you're priming the oil system and everything like that, you do have a nice lubricated surface for it to spin on. Let's slide this dealio on. I like to do all the logos facing the front of the crank. You can do it however you so choose to desire, but I'm gonna do it facing the front of the crankshaft. You may run into when you're doing this that it may be a little hard to access some of these bolts. You're gonna have to move the rod around a little bit to make sure you can torque them all down. We're gonna be going off a rod bolt stretch like we did last time in the measuring video, just because that's my preferred method to make sure that everything's like nice cinched down and good to go. They do provide the rod bolt stretch specs on whatever, you should. Let me say that. If you're buying quality rods, you should get some type of documentation that shows what you should be tightening these things down to, or what they should measure out to for stretch. I'm just gonna start off by cinching this guy down, not torquing it down yet, just cinching, just to get the rod and the cap to close up on themselves and make sure you're doing this evenly. And then I'm gonna wash this up. So ARP recommends 60 to 65 foot-pounds for these rod bolts. We're gonna do this incrementally just to see where we end up. What are you doing?
Hey, I got a question for you, my boy.
What's your question? I'm torquing down rod bolts, man. Hey, you're gonna be in the video, man. I'm on the phone with you, and I'm shooting a video right now.
Wow.
Wow, Cameron, say hi to everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, I got a question. My dad's legacy.
Yeah.
I think the center diff is shot because when I turn the tire, it goes.
Well, why'd he break it? 35 pounds. Oh. Get our gauge on this guy and float our gauge. 0048, 0045, somewhere in that range between those two. So, as we pump it up, you guys. Oh, 0050, so got a little bit tighter to go. Which, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. It sucks for me because I gotta keep tightening them down, but gotta do what we gotta do. This is gonna be the same process for all of these rods. So actually, let me just run through all these rods and knock this out real quick because I don't think you guys want to sit here and watch me struggle with each individual rod to torque it down and measure stretch. Look at that, we got all of our rods on our crank here. Now I didn't mention this on the first one that I showed you guys. Make sure you are using ARP fastener lube on your ARP fasteners because they are designed to be used with ARP fastener lubricant. But all of these, man, oh no, oh no. Joking, I'm supposed to do that. Whoop, look at that, dude, beautiful. So I'm gonna get this set aside. We're gonna crack open our case halves here. Now with the case halves, it's really not as difficult to build Subaru engines as people think for some reason. Like, these are pretty easy to do. We're gonna get this guy cracked open, so I need to take all of the case half bolts off in reverse order per this sheet here. You wanna make sure that you have these things printed out if you're doing these. Even if you're curious, like, all right, what do I put where goes what is the things? This will literally walk you through all of it for where everything goes, sealant, torque specs, torque order, everything like that. So let's get this guy split apart. I'm gonna get this guy set aside. We're gonna clean all the mains, the back sides of the journals, as well as the back sides and the front sides of all of the actual bearings. We'll get our O-rings in here. We'll get the sealant put on here. We'll get our crank dropped in, and we'll seal this bad boy up. Then we can move on to pistons. Pistons are fun in this thing. They're fun. So we've got through, we've prepped the case halves, we've got the crank prepped, I have all the journals on that thing cleaned off. So now is the kind of part where you gotta be a little bit quick. So we're gonna go through, get assembly lube on all of our bearings here. I'm gonna go ahead and get the sealant put around the outside of the block here. I already have our O-rings in, so you've got one oil ring there, and then one right there for coolant to flow through. That's why you want this document. It's gonna tell you exactly where to put sealant. You don't need to go crazy heavy with sealant. A mini caulking gun is also a huge thing. I'm gonna finish off this one bottle of 3 Bond I have here, and then I've got another one right there to be able to use. So let's just get this thing sealed up. This is the part where you just gotta be rather quick. That sealant's gonna start getting tacky relatively quickly, so just make sure that you don't like start doing this and then you have to go like empty the dishwasher or something, whatever it is I don't know what it is you're doing, but whatever it is you're doing. So let's do the fun part. Also, make sure you're keeping the cap on your assembly lube. I totally spaced on that last time I did one of these, and I got hounded for it in the comments. So make sure you keep the cap on your assembly lube. Lubricator up. And like I said, you can be a little generous with this too. You don't gotta be stingy with your lube. Don't be stingy with your lube. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. Nobody likes it when you're stingy with your lubrication. All right, so now that I've got our crank all prepped, we can start getting some sealant on here. So there's gonna be a couple key areas you're gonna wanna get sealant. Stick to the diagram, you guys. If you don't stick to the diagram, you're gonna make a mess. So I just like to keep the diagram in line with me, so that way as I'm doing this, I can kind of see what I'm doing and follow the same path. May have not been much left sealant in here. All right, looks like I'm swapping to the other thing of sealant real quick because I guess this one's empty. If you don't do this right, your engine is going to literally leak forever. Hit up all the spots. Let me run over this, just a couple of Q-tips real quick just to clean up a couple small areas. And for sealant, you don't have to use OEM Fuji 3 Bond like I am. You could totally use something from the auto parts store. Just make sure it's like a actual good replacement. What is it, Permatex The Right Stuff? Pretty good sealant. I use Permatex The Right Stuff. Because keep in mind, when you go to put these case halves together, you're gonna have some squeeze out. Normally I'll clean up the squeeze out as I go through it, but you don't want a ton of it. is what we're really targeting here. So, pretty happy with that. Go ahead, get our crank in here. Then we can get this other half topped on, start bolting it down. We all just want to go in our homes here, right? Yeah, we do. There we go. Now it went in its home. Woo! Dude, that one did not want to line up. Lined up. So, make sure that I'm going to go through here, do one more quick cleanup of sealant, especially around the areas that are close to the crankshaft. Just pay attention to those. So when getting this set of case halves on top of this one, just make sure you're taking your time. You're not dropping them, you're not slamming them, you're not throwing them. It doesn't weigh that much, so I really wouldn't stress about it, but just keep that in mind. Make sure your rods are like pointing up like so. And then just lower her down, you guys. And once everything, there it goes. I was about to say, once everything starts to line up, it'll literally just drop right into place like that. So now that we've got that, I'm gonna start getting in some of these bolts. I'm not gonna be tightening them down yet, but I am gonna get a couple in there just to hold us all together. So that way it's obviously not gonna come apart as I'm flipping it back, forth, back, forth, back. So I don't know at what point we exceeded the 30-minute mark and it stopped recording, but we've got all of the case half bolts in the case halves torqued down. At this point, I'm just going through and getting all of the smaller case half bolts ready to be torqued down. So I'm just getting them like hand threaded in, ready to go. So that way we can just run through here, torque all these guys down. And then our case halves are sealed up, daddy-o. To be honest, the crank feels really nice, you guys. You can spin it by hand. Like that it feels nice, tight. It's good. It feels beautiful. It honestly feels better than Karma's engine did. And again, I think I took more time measuring this one and making sure everything was solid on this than I did Karma's. You guys, this thing is feeling absolutely beautiful. You can turn everything over by hand. Everything feels nice and tight. This is probably the smoothest engine build that I've done. These are also the newest case halves I've ever used, so dude, it feels so good. It feels so good. I love it. Next up, we got to get the pistons in, but kind of let me show you where we're at right now. Then we can start getting these pistons in here. Also, sorry for all the static shots on the tripod, but like I'm the only one out here and there's just not a whole lot of room right now with the Blue Baru sitting in here. So this thing's gonna be awesome. I'm really excited to give this engine away. I've done like one giveaway in the past, and I think that was for a Perrin air oil separator or something. That was when the channel had like 500 subscribers or something like that. So it's really cool to be able to get to the point where I can give away an entire built engine like this. I'm just excited for you guys. So we've got our rods and crankshaft, everything in there. I went through and I cleaned up all the squeeze out that like squeezed out on the engine because like I said, you're gonna have squeeze out. It's natural for it to happen. So now that we've got all that cleaned up, go ahead and we can start getting these pistons in here. So we are, like I said before, we're using these JE pistons. In the last video, you guys saw me already prep these guys. These are numbered for what cylinders they're going in. So I think I'm gonna start out on cylinders 2 and 4 right here. You have these access panels that cover up where the wrist pin goes. So we need to set up the wrist pins and the pistons first. It's a C-clamp style. So let me actually get one out of the box and set one up so that way you guys can see what we're doing here. All right, so before we go slapping pistons and get pistons set up and whatnot, I'm actually gonna run through the engine real quick with some brake clean and just wipe off the cylinder walls and clean them out real quick. Just to get anything that may be on the cylinder wall off. Make it nice and clean. Just to get any debris out of there like that. Then I'm gonna take a little bit of Haviland. You can use any engine oil. I just have Haviland here from Chevron that I'm gonna put in this little cap right here and just re-lube up those cylinder walls just to make them nice and slippery and to give them just a little bit of protection. You can use assembly lube if you want to. For this, I just prefer engine oil, but this is just gonna help the piston and everything go in. It'll also help lube up the walls, keep everything nice and clean. Boop, boop. And I'm gonna do this one piston at a time and we'll clean up all the excess as we go through this. So as you guys remember, I went through and I labeled all of our pistons. That's cylinder 1. Bam, cylinder 2. So we've got cylinder 2's piston here. Now if you look on the inside of the pistons, you're gonna see little grooves right there. That's where the C-clip sits. So you know which orientation the piston's gonna go because it literally says front right on the top of it. So in order to make your life a lot easier for these wrist pins, go ahead and get that back C-clip in to start things off. Now I need to find my C-clip pliers actually. So you just wanna make sure that that C-clip right there fully seats inside of the piston, just to make sure things are nice. Next up, we're gonna make sure that all of our ring gaps are offset. So that way we have good compression to start things off. So I'm just using this ring orientation diagram that the Pistons came with. Honestly, the best idea to do so. Then I'm going to go ahead and set those up. So we've got front of the piston, wrist pin center line, engine right, engine left, good. Oil ring gap, that one is where it needs to be. Second compression ring gap, so that one is already right there also, and the top compression ring gap, so I need to rotate. So now that I've got all of the gaps set up on this, I'm gonna go ahead and lubricate these sides or the skirts of the piston with a little bit of oil as well, just to make sure that everything seats nicely and sits in its home. Because you don't want to force the piston in if you can avoid it. So a little bit of oil on here, totally fine to do so. Ring compressor tool here. So with the ring compressor tool, it is literally exactly what it sounds like. You just put the ring in there and compress it. It'll keep all your piston rings nice and compressed. So let me go ahead. It is also tapered, so that should help you as well. Lined up right there. And now this is where you got to be a little careful. You don't need to like straight up pound the shit out of this. You just got to tap it lightly. You do want to make sure that it is orientated properly. Front is towards me. This is cylinder number 2. Take the back side of our mallet here and just... That's literally all it takes, you guys. You don't have to beat the ever-living hell out of your pistons to get them to line up. And then now that they're lined up, let me rotate this guy towards you guys. Go ahead and slide our piston down in. We may have to adjust our rod right here. We want to make sure that the rod and the wrist pin line up so that way we can get our wrist pin in. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to throw a little bit more oil on here after we get these pistons in, so that way as I rotate it and lubricate it, everything goes in nicely. I am going to put a little bit of lubrication on this wrist pin as well, just to make sliding it in a little bit easier. Wrist pins can be a little bit of a pain on Subarus, but they're really not too bad, you guys. Slide right in. You may have to rotate the engine around a little bit just to get things to line up like spot on. Which if you do, no big deal, but you shouldn't have to really force these in. They should slide in on their own pretty well. Where did my big extensions go, dude? Like that, I'm so curious. Like I need them right now. It's fine, I can use this. Just to give her a couple love taps. You don't gotta be super hard with it either. Just be nice and gentle, like you're taking her out on her first date. And we can go ahead and get this C-clip in there. Then we've got one piston locked down, you guys. Dope. Now what I like to do, you don't have to do this, I would advise it. Take like a flathead and just push up on that C-clip just to make sure that it is fully seated in its home. And now we've got a piston that rotates. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of oil back into this cylinder right here, now that we have one piston in there, just to help lubricate the rings a little bit and the wall. Bam! And that's literally it to put pistons in. Super easy. So let me run through. I'm gonna do cylinders 4, 1, and 3. And then you guys, we got a built short block. We have a freaking built short block for someone. Not me. I wish it was mine, but it's not. It's one of your guys's. Oh, dude, that feels so good. Look at that. You can see the piston right there. You can't, but dope. Let me go through. Let's knock out the rest of these. So you guys, we now have a built EJ sitting right here in front of me, and I'm gonna say this is the smoothest engine build I have done, considering that I'm guessing it's because the case halves are so new, and with every single one I get better, I get better, I get better, I find better techniques, I find better methods of doing this stuff. Before I show you guys this, I do want to say I genuinely appreciate all of you guys and the support that you have shown, and I hope that this is I hope that it's a way for me to be able to give back to you guys in a way to show my support. I know I can't give away cars, I can't do anything like that. Maybe in the future, if that's something that you guys want, we can do that. The whole reason I'm giving this engine away is because you guys wanted it. And because of the last merch drop, I can financially afford to do that for you guys. So I'm so stoked for this. It came out way better than Karma's engine did. It came out way better than the other ones that I've done also. So let me show you guys this because I'm so stoked for it. So I honestly hope whoever wins this engine, please just take care of it. Just take good care of her right here. Everything just went so smoothly. The JE pistons went in so nice. The crank was like solid. It didn't want to line up at first, but that was because of me. Rods, everything just lined up so good. There was only one issue I had, and I dropped one of the C clips for the wrist pins. Had to fished it out, put it back in. I did throw on some of these access panel covers. I know when you guys buy like IAG engines or other engines from other manufacturers or things like that, they don't normally include the plugs. I went through my spare parts bin, found some brand new plugs that I had sitting around. Same with one of the access panels on the back right there. I don't have the screws for the oil separator plate on the other side, so you will have to supply that. But aside from that, like I got you guys on like the galley plugs, all the other plugs that go in the engine, the ones that cover up all of the wrist pins. So all the wrist pins are sealed up at this point. All you guys got to do is get an air separator or an oil separator plate for the back, seal it up. I also threw a brand new rear main seal in back here for you guys as well, so that way you don't have to. So honestly, I genuinely hope that whoever wins this engine, take care of it, make some power with it, keep me updated on how she does and everything like that, because if I could keep this, I totally would. This thing's absolutely beautiful. Now, I wish everybody could win an engine, but in reality, we both know that I can't financially afford that. I can give away one, I can't give away one to everyone, so good luck to everybody who entered. All of your names are on the list. The giveaway will be live tonight in the live stream, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. Come swing through if you want to watch the giveaway. It'll be a normal live stream for probably about the first half hour, and we'll do the giveaway somewhere in the middle of it, or near the end of it. I haven't quite decided yet. We'll figure that out tomorrow. We'll see how the live stream goes. So that's really all I got for you guys on this one. I just wanted to document building the engine that we're going to be giving away to one of you guys. Best of luck, everyone. I'm excited for the giveaway. I'm genuinely excited. I like when I can give back to you guys. So it's going to be fun. I can't wait. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. If you guys have any questions about the engine that we built, any of the specs, or if you have any questions about building one yourselves, feel free to drop it in the comments. I'll link below all the tools that we used in the last video for measuring all of our specs, all of our tolerances, as well as what we use to build this engine, such as the pistons, the rods, the sealant, the crank, all of that type of stuff, the plugs if I can find them and whatnot. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. If you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you. Oh, update on the 6-cylinder also. Got the radiator back from Fuse. Should get the manifold back tomorrow or so. Have a whole bunch of the heater core hoses, vacuum lines, everything like that in the back. Got some more wiring stuff that I was waiting for, such as tools, crimps, pins, things of that nature. So in the next couple of videos, goal is to get old girl running. I also got the wheels ordered for it today, and I think a lot of you guys are going to like the wheels that we got coming for the STI. So if you want to see how the 6-cylinder STI comes, or you want to subscribe, or you're just a chill dude and you want to kick it, go ahead and hit that button. One of these corners, no idea which one I'll put it in quite yet, but with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies.